All right, they made it. We gotta unbox it, but the new center console for the truck is here. And so we'll get this unboxed. This doesn't look too bad. So that came with the bracket. I knew that it was missing that, so I got one of those ordered. And then there's this piece up here that's got a little scratch. And then there were two little scratches back here, but overall really happy with how clean it is. Got the side pieces and the bracket. I think I paid like 600 bucks for this, so we'll get it put in and go from there. So we're gonna get the jump seat out. There are 4 bolts on this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 in the back, 2 in the front. I'm gonna go ahead and get those pulled out and get this thing lifted up. Under the passenger seat, under the slider, there's a piece of carpet that you can fold up. And then there's 2 connectors down there. I've already got one out and I've got to do that. That's going to be for the harness for the jump seat. So I got to get both of those unplugged now that all the screws are out. And then this thing should pop right out and we can start figuring out how to get the new one in. Got those unplugged. They just plugged in there under the seat. So this whole thing can now be lifted out. Jump seat is out of the way. We've got to get all of this, the plug right here and the cigarette lighter right here, and then this tray. All needs to be removed and taken out so we can access that harness behind it and plug those into the new center console. That way the plug and the cigarette lighters on the center console work. Not all of them are gonna work. There's a bunch of them up there. So this one will work and this one will work, which is the plug and the cigarette lighter. These 2 won't work. There's a harness you can buy to make these work. I didn't really care because I'm missing this anyways because I got it used. But those 2 are gonna work and that's why we need to get the tray and everything out of the way. This tray is pretty easy to get out. You just gotta pinch these 2 sides and pull it down. And then there's gonna be some access screws on this side to get everything out of the way. So I popped those 2 side pieces out, that drops down, and then it just folds off. And that piece is out of the way. So there's a screw right here, and one there, and one there. There's stars, and then this whole thing is gonna come off, and we'll unplug the plugs here and get those wires exposed. Okay, we got this one unplugged from the cigarette lighter right there. And now I just got to unplug these 2 for the house plug that's right here. So can you get those unplugged? There's little pins on the side you got to click and then they pop right out. So I was able to take the cigarette lighter out of this tray that I'm getting rid of and put it in here. So it filled that hole and it looks nice and complete now. So super happy about that. Is a pin here. And then there's a bolt here. There's 2 bolts up above this, so we got to cut these, and that's what's going to allow us to put the bracket in. Now the bracket is not mandatory. There's a bunch of people who don't put the bracket in. My center console came with it, so I'm going to put it in, but you don't have to. It really only holds the center console in by these 2 bolts up down here, right here, and then it already has these 4 massive bolts connecting to the body. So a lot of people don't put it in. I've got it, so I'm going to. So I'm going to take those 3 bolts out, cut those 2 clips for the wires, and get those out of the way, and then I'll be able to toss this up in there, and we can keep on going. Okay, bracket is in. Had to cut those zip ties and actually pull out the clip that was holding them, and then I fed it through the bracket, and now it's time to slide the new console in, plug those in, bolt everything down, and be ready to go. Okay, center console is in. We've got to re-plug in all of our wires. So we've got the cigarette lighter and the 110 house plug we got to plug in and make sure that those are all hooked up. One thing I wanted to point out was you have this big plug right here. That just runs all the way to the back outlets. So you have a few outlets in here, you have one in the back, and that's what that is for. So that's the harness I'm talking about that you can buy, and it'll plug into that and it'll make everything work. They're just expensive, more money than I wanted to spend, and I'm not too worried about losing those two. I've got USB in here, I've got all this, so not super worried about it. But I'm gonna get these plugged in, scoot it all the way forward, get the bolts in, and then from there we're gonna try and make sure that everything lines up, get the side pieces clicked on, and make sure everything's working. That is all the way forward, right where we want it. Holes are lining up, so I'm gonna get the bolts in all four corners, and then it should be tightened down. Then put the trim pieces on, and then you're done. So super happy with it. I think it looks way better, but I'm gonna get it all bolted down. Everything is in, clip those pieces on. On the driver's side, there's this molding piece that's like right here. You just have to undo it on both sides like this. They kind of clamp together. And then that allows the hook on the driver's side trim piece to go around a brace right there. And then everything clips in all nice and tight. Overall, super happy with it. Turned out really nice. Way better than the jump seat in my opinion. So really happy. Thanks for watching.